Hello, welcome to Indie Tutorials. My name is Guillermo and I would like to thank the patrons supporting this channel. So I have a brand new ORK Framework project in Unity 2021, and if I open the ORK editor, you can see that I am on the latest version, Machinum 2.6 and ORK Framework 3.5, and I already save. Click on the save button to save all the assets, so we have already the structure required for the project itself. So I also created these episodes, and this should be the episode 10 in the list of how-to from the original series, so just to keep track. And what I'm going to do now is import from the package manager Animal Controller. So search for Animal Controller, click on import, in this case I will skip the install upgrade, and then I'm prompted with the assets that comes with the package. I will unselect the demos. I don't want anything but the core functionality. I guess I have the core functionality, but try to keep your projects clean. If you want to dig into the demos and play with the controller itself, make an separate project out of the Animal Controller and take a look at the demos over there, but try from the starter to keep your project clean. So I will unselect the demos and click on import. I'm going to pause the video until it's finished. Okay, so now it's installed, we can close Package Manager and take a look at Malbers Animations, and we have the Animal Controller here. What I want to do now is go into File, New Scene, and create a brand new scene. Let me see. Just a basic built-in. Actually, let's cancel that one. We have here in the empty scene or the sample scene that comes with the brand new project. So let's go into Tools, Malbers Animations, and here we can create a test scene. So click on that one, and it should be ready to go. So if we were to click on Steve and press the F key to frame it in, it doesn't work like that. So let's zoom in and let me decrease the size of the gizmos. Okay, so we have both Steve and the wolf, and if we were to click play, it should work right out of the box. So we have the movement, camera is controlled by the mouse, and that's something I'm going to change right now, because as I previously mentioned in several videos, I sucked at playing with the keyboard, so I will switch to the gamepad. And if we take a look at the free look camera, we can see it's using the mouse Y and mouse X from the standard input system or input manager from Unity. So we need to add a couple of entries to support the gamepad, the right stick gamepad. So click on to stop playing, and let's go into assets, edit, project settings, and I am ready in the input manager. So we have the mouse X and mouse Y. Right click the mouse X and click on duplicate array element. So we have now a new entry over here. Down below in the type, select joystick axis, and for the axis we are going to select the fourth axis. The depth, let's change it to 0.19 and the sensitivity to 1. Now let's do the same for the Y mouse Y. So let's duplicate this array, and from here we need to change the joystick axis for the type, and the axis is going to be the 5th axis. Also I'm going to change the depth to 0.19 and sensitivity to 1. So that's all we need to do. And if I were to play again, I have my game controller, my Xbox controller connected. So let's hit on play. And the camera is using the gamepad now. Just the way I like it. We can jump with the gamepad Y button. Alright, so let's continue. Let me stop play mode and start setting up ORK Framework. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is of course save the scene. So let's click on save as, and I will go to my episode folder, 10 scenes, and here I'm going to select a new name, and let's Playground, or whatever you wanted to choose. There we go. The second thing I want to do here is to remove the WOF altogether, and then from Steve I want to unpack the prefab. So prefab, unpack completely. In the inspector from Steve, I'm going to check the components that we have. So I will remove the stats manager. The stats is going to be handled by ORK, not the animal controller. So remove component. This has a dependency in the damageable, so I will remove that one. I will leave the event listeners. The aim is needed for the targeting and switching to the strafe locomotion, so we're going to leave it as it is, and that should be it. In the scenes, in the episodes or in your folder, I will create a new folder for prefabs and a new folder for schematics. There we go. So in the prefabs we can just drag Steve, but I will change the name of this game object and set it to hero, why not, and drag it to the prefabs folder. Alright, I'm getting some errors here, no idea. Okay, so we have our prefab. The next thing I want to do is go to Window, Game is Love, and the Machinum Scene Wizard. From here I'm going to add an ORK game starter, so click on that one. It's going to be added somewhere not in the middle of the scene, so let's do that. And then I'm going to add or create a game object of spawn point. So we have it here again on the middle of the scene. I don't know why it's doing this, but what I want to do here is uncheck place on ground. Animal controller will handle that. Alright, so we have the game starter, we have the spawn point set. We can now delete the hero prefab from the scene, save again our scene, and let's go into ORK editor. So let's open up. In the base control game controls, we need to go into ORK control settings, scroll down, and we want to remove the player control type, so set it to none, and as well as the camera control type to none. Then let's go up, and in the player settings section, scroll down, and we need to add control behaviors. So let's add a new control behavior for the player, and the class name is going to be Malbers input. There we go. And we want to add another custom control for the camera, and for that one we need to import the ORK Cinemachine wrapper. So let's save our changes for now. Let's close the editor and let's import the ORK Cinemachine wrapper. Okay, so I will right click anywhere in my project window or panel, and I'm going to import package, custom package, and I will go to my resources folder in the desktop. I have wrappers folder, and from here I can choose ORK Cinemachine Camera Control Wrapper and click on open and import the wrapper. So it will create a new script or add a new script to the project. After Unity compiles, we can select the CM brain. This is the Cinemachine brain from Animal Controller, and let's collapse all the components here, and we need to add this ORK Cinemachine controller here. So let's either click on add and start typing ORK Cinemachine Camera Controller, right? And what I'm going to do here for now is unselect or uncheck follow target and look at target, because Animal Controller has a different way to hook. We have this transform hook here, so it will do it for us, so we need to probably modify the source code of this wrapper instead. But after adding this component here, you will see that it's trying to add to a prefab. So I forgot that we need also to unpack the prefab here for the Cinemachine brain. So let's click unpack completely, and let's save this changes in the scene. Now we can go back to editor, ORK Framework editor, and we were left in the player settings, control behaviors. We need to add a new one. In this case it will be for the camera, and the class name is ORK Cinemachine Camera Control Wrapper. There we go. So let's save the changes. Okay, so let's go into Combatant tab, then select the Combatant subsection, and we have by default, or created by the default Combatant. I'm going to edit the text and change it to hero. Click OK, and also I'm going to change the GUID to hero. Click OK and save the settings. So we see that a new asset of name hero should be created, and for some reason it reverted back to default, so I'm struggling with this issue. So let's create a brand new Combatant, and let's leave the default as it is. Let me check here again the name hero, and the GUID I'm going to rename it to hero and save the changes. Hopefully it will be saved as expected, and it is. So let's select now in the base settings we need to add our prefab here. I'm going to save the changes once again. There we go. And in the status settings I will just add an initial value of health, and let's add 300 points there. Save settings, okay, and confirm. So now we have our Combatant created. with the prefab that is going to be a spawn, right, using the spawn point. So now we can go into the schematics and let's add our join group as always. So join group, let's link the nodes together, and from the combatants list let's select our hero. I will leave everything as default, and after the join group we need to spawn ORK player. Let's link the nodes, and we are going to spawn it in the spawn point 0. So let's save our schematic, episodes, schematic, and let's call it spawn player schematic. There we go. So the easiest way is to go into our ORK game starter and assign the schematic here. So let's select this like so. Let's save the scene, and we can hit play, and we should expect our hero to be spawned and animal controller to work as expected. So we have our player, we can move it with the gamepad as before, jump, and the camera is still working as expected. So this is the first step of this mini tutorial. On the next video I'm going to cover changing the hero mesh and adding I'm adding the transition to another level, which is one of the things that people are struggling with a little bit. But we can see here we have the combatant component from ORK system, ORK framework, and we have the health. So yeah, I hope you like the video, and thank you for supporting the channel. See you on the next one.